It's the semifinal round of the UIL playoffs. Several local teams still in the mix. Find out who's playing next week for a state title. Plus, the Bishop Dunn Falcons have already wrapped up a TAPS championship. They're in studio this evening. So is Brian Gossett. And we've got the story of one local athlete who went from a hospital bed to a state title game.
This is the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Chevy High School Sports Special. I'm Taylor Williamson. Entering the weekend, just 44 teams remaining in the UIL playoffs. That's down from over 1,000 who started the season with championship dreams. Several local teams looking to punch their ticket to state this weekend. We'll start out in 6A Division I, where it was the undefeated Allen Eagles meeting up with the undefeated Duncanville Panthers in the semifinals at AT&T Stadium. We picked this one up right before the half. Duncanville up 28-14. Jaquindon Jackson rolling out, finds Davion Walker, who makes the great catch. Duncanville up 35-14 at the half, but Allen claws their way back, down 35-28 in the third. Seldon Manning gets the toss and has some space, 15 yards to tie this one at 35. Same score in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left, and on 4th and 2, Jackson calls his own number, and it's a good call. Goes up the middle. 40 yards later, Duncanville has a 42-35 lead. Allen looking to rally, but Grant Tisdale is going to be sacked in the end zone by DeBraylon Carroll for the safety. That makes it a 9-point game, and that would be enough. Duncanville on to state with a 44-35 win. They will face North Shore High School from Galena Park next weekend. In Class 5A Division I, Highland Park and Denton Ryan meeting in the semifinals for the third straight year. Highland Park won the last two matchups and went on to win state both years. Scoreless in the first. Chandler Morris hooks up with Bennett Brown. That's good for 6, and it's 7-0 early. 14-0 Scots in the second, but Ryan's Drew Sanders takes the direct snap, finds some running room to the outside, down to the 3-yard line. Sanders would punch it in on the following play. 14-7, but the Scots are going to be up 15 in the third. That's when they go into their bag of tricks. Wideout Finn Corwin to Avery Lewis down to the 2. Scots would score on the next play on that one. They're leading 36-14 in the fourth. Morris goes to Brown again for the touchdown. Third time they linked up for 6. Morris added 3 more scores on the ground. Highland Park wins 43-21. They're headed to the state final yet again, 1 win away from a three-peat. In the 5A Division II semifinals, it was Aledo taking on Wichita Falls Rider Friday at AT&T Stadium. Aledo already leads 7-0 in the first quarter. They get the ball, and it doesn't take long for them to score again. Trey Owens with the punt return for Aledo brings it all the way back. It's 14-0. Next possession for Aledo, it's another touchdown. Quarterback Jake Bishop to Devin Daughtry in the end zone. That makes it 21-0 after 1. Crew needs a water break. Big thanks to Lindsay, the athletic trainer. Second quarter now, Jason McClellan scored once in the first, scores twice in the second. This one's out of control. It's 35-0. Then a huge play to end the first half for Aledo. Owens intercepting Ryder's pass in the end zone, and he brings it out. He'll take that all the way back, 103 yards. That puts Aledo up 42-0 at the break. 63-7 would be the final as Aledo advances to the championship game, where they'll face Fort Bend Marshall this Friday. We've got more highlights coming up later, but right now a story from a first-time TAPS state champion, Willow Park Trinity Christian. The Eagles won the Division III championship last week with the help and inspiration of one player in particular. Lauren Zakalik has more in this week's Spotlight, presented by Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children.
Breathe.
Football is more than a hobby for Kobe Bixler.
It's the ultimate team sport, so every time you play and you create a family, and I definitely found that out this year.
As Kobe was gearing up for summer practice this past July.
And I lost 32 pounds in 2 weeks, and so I knew something was up. We went to the doctor, and they diagnosed me with testicular cancer. And
at just 17.
I was upset about it. You know, no one wants to hear that.
Your heart goes out to he and his family, and for a young guy, 17 years old, to hear that news.
Joe Hamstra, his coach at Trinity Christian Academy, knew that'd mean Kobe wouldn't get to play his senior year. He also knew.
Yeah, we all have our stories.
What Kobe's battle was about to be. Hamstra recently had cancer, too.
He was always right there next to me. He sat with me during a chemo treatment one day.
The chemo was working. Kobe was healing, and his team kept winning.
And said, hey, look, we're going to state. I think we might be able to get Kobe on the field as a kicker.
Kobe's teammate and friend, Cody Athey.
I remember hearing the plan. I just thought it was like the coolest idea.
Kobe was nervous. He's not a kicker. He's an offensive lineman.
These are my shoulder pads, and that's the hole they cut out so that I could play so it didn't put pressure on my port.
It was a risk, but Kobe was ready. So Friday night, down 7-0 in the TAPS Division III state championship.
We decided to go ahead and kick a field goal, try to cut into their lead, and we send Kobe out there, and he made that son of a gun.
Crowd went crazy, and I thought it was pretty funny. The other team had to have been confused because it was just a field goal. Everyone was super happy.
The Eagles ended up winning the game by just 1 point, 15-14.
Kobe's 3 points, you could say, won us the game.
God was definitely there through all of it, and never at once did I feel like I was alone.
Perhaps an even bigger victory, Kobe is now cancer-free, too. In Parker County, Lawrence Akalik, Channel 8 News.
What an awesome story, and what an awesome season for TCA Willow Park. Well, plenty more to come here on the Chevy High School Sports Special, including the Bishop Dunn Falcons, who are in studio after their state championship win. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Chevy High School Sports Special, where we continue to show you who's state-bound after this weekend's UIL semifinal action. The Cinderella season of the Decatur Eagles continues, reaching the 4A Division I semifinals against Waco La Vega at AT&T Stadium. La Vega running back John Richards, who had a big game last week against Argyle, has another one this week. He scores twice in the first quarter, including this 50-yarder to make it 14-0 by the end of one. Richards scores for a third time early in the second quarter. He would make it 20-0 right there, finishes with 197 yards rushing and 3 scores for the Pirates. 5 different players would run for La Vega touchdowns, including quarterback Era Rawls, who throws for this score as well, 72 yards to Josh Hamilton, as La Vega ends Decatur's special season. Pirates win 53-0 to advance past the Eagles. 3A Division I semifinal between Brock and Malakoff happening Friday afternoon at the Star in Frisco. Malakoff leads 3-0 in the second quarter. They'll add to the lead after this long run by R.J. Carr. They get him just short of the goal line, but Malakoff scores on the next play to take a 10-0 lead. Brock answers with their first scoring drive. Zach Young's 3-yard TD gets the Eagles on the scoreboard. It's 10-7. Brock gets the ball back after a turnover, and Dakota Taylor will sneak it in to give Brock the lead at 14-10. Then it would be Malakoff retaking the lead. Quarterback Darian Peace throwing 38 yards to Kadarius Thomas, who makes the nice catch. Look at that concentration. That's score will make it 17-14 Tigers. Malakoff leads now 23-21 in the fourth. Brock facing a 4th and 9. With under 2 minutes remaining, Tigers get the sack to end Brock's hope for a comeback. Malakoff gets the 2-point win in this one to advance. Malakoff will face the winner of this one, the Zebras of Grandview or the Bulldogs of Yoakum. I sure hope it's the Zebras. Yoakum turned it over on the opening kickoff. Grandview takes advantage, scoring 2 plays later on Elijah Golden's 1-yard touchdown plunge, and it's 7-0 for the Zebras. Yoakum then ties it at 7, but Grandview quarterback Dane Jench, calling his own number, finds room along the right side. Zebras up 14-7. Now Jench is going to throw this one. Cooper Deans, well covered, makes the catch for another Grandview score. It's 21-7 for the Zebras. stays the same until the fourth quarter. Jench on the keeper again. This time, it's going to take it 43 yards to make it 28-7. Plenty for Grandview as they go on to win by a final of 28-14. So the Zebras will play Malakoff in the 3A Division I championship game. While the UIL State Football Championships are less than a week away now, it's been more than a week since the season ended for the Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools. Dallas Bishop Dunn won this year's TAPS Division I championship last Friday, and tonight they're here to talk about their title-winning season. Head coach Michael Johnson joining us now with his big group of seniors. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Coach Johnson, we'll start with you first. Obviously, a big win for you guys last week. What was the biggest key to y'all being able to bring home that state championship?
One of the things we talked to our kids about was since the game was going to be a game that was going to rain hard, it was going to be cold, we told those guys that you got to first handle that mentally first. And then the second aspect of it was that we knew we had to stop the run game, and we knew that we had to be able to run the ball successfully, and then we couldn't give up big plays, for our defense.
And it obviously worked en route to a huge win. Next, we're going to meet offensive lineman from Bishop Dunn, Chance Jones. Chance, you guys lost to Bishop Lynch way back in 2016. Were able to come back and get the win this time around. How much did that mean to y'all to kind of be able to get a little bit of revenge for that loss a couple years ago?
You know, it was tough the first year when we lost, but I think that just made it even. It gave us a boost, and it made us hungrier to get them this time, and we definitely did that. And I appreciate my team for all the support and always been there so we could get this state championship this year.
Yeah, you guys got out there and took care of business, certainly well earned. Next, we're going to talk with Jabari Kepra. He's a wide receiver senior for Bishop Dunn. Jabari, you guys started out 3-3 on the year, and you were able to make it all the way to the state title game and win. You didn't lose another game after that 3-3 start. What was the key to the progression throughout the year?
Yeah, this season we had a lot of ups and downs, and after starting 3-3, we all had to ask ourselves, is this how our season wants to be? And our collective answer was no. Then after that, the key to the season, we all had to focus. We focused on every play, we focused on every game, focused on every possession, and we executed. And then after that, the season became much easier, and that led us to the ultimate goal of the state championship.
Yeah, y'all really got it turned around, and it paid dividends. Next up, Fred Joel Henderson III. Fred, Coach talked earlier about the defense, especially in that game against Bishop Lynch. What was the key for the defensive performance in that game and just throughout the season as a whole?
Well, the credit goes to Coach Williams for putting us in the best spots to be able to make plays the whole season, and just the whole team to 21 points and under. And just for the Lynch game, just to be able to hold them to 30 yards after they were making like 300+ yards of the game, it was just because of Coach Williams and then how he came out and played and executed wherever he called.
And I'm not a math guy, but 30 from 350, that seems pretty good. Obviously a huge key. Next up, we're going to talk with Brian Williams. He's a senior safety for the Falcons. And Brian, you guys had a motto this year. I believe it was Team Grind. Can you tell us a little bit about what that meant for y'all?
First it starts off with the team, and we all knew we had to come together as a team. And then just the grind aspect was just attack everything that we do in practices or in any workouts or in anything we do. We just had to attack every day and get better and come together as a collective, and it worked out in the end with the state championship.
Next up, we'll talk with senior defensive end Gabe Matus. Gabe, you got to Bishop Dunn. Team was fresh off of a state title back in 2014. What does it mean for y'all to be able to leave with one of y'all's own?
It's an amazing feeling. It's a great group of guys we play with every week, and just to be able to do this our senior year, especially when we were in 8th grade, my brother was on the 2014 team that won, and so being able to come into high school and get that victory for myself and with the guys behind me, it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic way to end a senior campaign. We'll circle back around to Coach Johnson. I mean, obviously you guys reached the pinnacle this year, Coach, but what's kind of the outlook looking forward for the Falcons?
First of all, this is a great group of kids that we have. They left their mark for the guys that's that's behind them. And for us, it is we got a strong team coming back. We know what our goals are. They're very simple. They're 3 simple goals. I'm not going to share them out here on publicly, but at the end of the day, if we focus on those 3, we should be back in this position again next year.
All right, and hopefully we have y'all right back in here a year from now. That's Coach Michael Johnson and his Bishop Dunn Falcons. Guys, thank you so much for coming and joining us this evening.
Thanks for having us.
All right, well, coming up next, we'll talk to Brian Gossett of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram about state championship week in Arlington. Stay tuned. The Chevy High School Sports Special will be right back. The UIL State Football Championships are coming to Arlington this week. 12 title games in all, starting with Wednesday's Class 1A or 6-man finals. Brian Gossett of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joins me now to preview all the big games featuring North Texas title contenders. Brian, let's get right to it. Duncanville, huge win over Allen. Now they get Galena Park, North Shore. I mean, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I talked about it many times on this show. Just to start the season, you know, a lot of people like Duncanville to be that second best team again, behind Allen. They proved it. You know, they had come in averaging just 4.6 points per game on their defense. It was a shocker to me last week when they played Carroll and you know, it was 51-7. You know, they came out swinging against Allen, 35-14. Allen, of course, came back, scored 21 points in the third, and made it a game, and Duncanville was able to win. You know, I was excited for that Allen-Duncanville game, but just hearing people in the press box and watching Twitter, this Duncanville-North Shore game, probably the game of the year. Both teams are averaging nearly identical numbers, 50 points per game. You know, North Shore's defense is no slouch at 10.8. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. North Shore, you know, last state title in 15. It'd be cool to see if Duncanville wins because it's their 20th anniversary. Since they won their first and only one in 1998. So yeah, looking forward to that one with on the Saturday nightcap.
Yeah, and Duncanville's certainly gone through the ringer having to face off against, you know, South Lake Carroll and then Allen, North Shore. They're always good, and this year is no different. Let's step down to 5A now. Highland Park going back in Division I again. They get a team in Shadow Creek. This is their first year playing varsity football. What do you see in that matchup?
Yeah, you know, Greg Temper over at Dave Campbell's kind of threw it out there on Twitter. Highland Park is the winningest program in state history with over 800 wins. And now they face a team like Shadow Creek, who first year 15-0, and obviously their first trip to the state title game. 1998 was the last time a first-year program had won a state title. That's Beaumont Westbrook, which oddly enough is in the 6A D2 state championship game against Longview. Highland Park, you know, have been tested the last couple of weeks. You know, in the semifinal against Ryan. You know, third straight year, no different. They beat Ryan again, and it's going to be another fun matchup. We'll see if Shadow Creek's up for the test.
It will be interesting, kind of, you know, the old standard versus the new kids on the block. I'm certainly excited to see what that one brings us. And now when we go down to 5A Division II, an old standard as well, Aledo going to be in there against Fort Bend Marshall. I mean, it's been a great season for Aledo.
Yeah, just like Highland Park, it's no different. And the word I've been using, you know, most of the season is hungrier. Aledo coming up short in last year's state final. Definitely a team you don't want to face the next year, because I feel the team is hungrier to get back there. And someone like Aledo, where most of these teams, you know, they'll fight for a state runner-up finish, but for Aledo, I think it's a failure because they're so used to it. It's actually their 8th trip to the state title game in the past decade. They're looking for their 7th state title. Fort Bend Marshall is a cool story. Unfortunately, you know, one of their seniors was shot and lost his life earlier to start the week, and then to finish the week, no better way to beat Cal Allen and go to their first state championship game. So another thing, just like Highland Park and Shadow Creek, we'll see if Marshall is up to the test.
And, you know, we're talking about, you know, your Highland Parks and your Aledos, who are always in the state championship game. We've got A newcomer to the party, Grandview, they get Malakoff. These two teams already played. Grandview has been demolishing everyone this season.
Right.
I mean, is that staying the same?
Yeah, you know, Grandview won the Week 3 matchup 28-7. It's actually also Malakoff's first time to the state title game, so we will have a new champion there. Yeah, the Zebras coming off an impressive win against Yoakum, who I think a lot of people had taken. I think it was 28-14, and then Malakoff knocking off a Brock team who only 5 years playing in the varsity level have been a 3A powerhouse. So yeah, I think it's kind of Grandview's time. I'm not positive on what Malakoff brings to the table, but obviously they're a great team coming this far. But I got to pull for the Zebras.
Either way, one of them is walking away with their first ever, state championship, state title. So, the games get underway on Wednesday. Are you going to be out at
all 12?
All 12 of them.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
You'll have to get your punch card, punched each time you go in, and you can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You got to be able to trade that in for like a UIL state championship shirt, right?
Oh, I hope so.
Okay. Well, good deal. Brian Gosson of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Brian, thank you so much as always for joining us and gifting us with your bevy of high school football knowledge. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Taylor.
All right. Well, the team of the week is next, so stay right here with us.
Now, here's your Chevy Team of the Week, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
Looking to punch their ticket to state for the first time, the Grandview Zebras went up against Yoakum Friday in Pflugerville. Grandview capitalized on a Yoakum turnover on the game's opening kickoff with Elijah Golden's 1-yard touchdown to give the Zebras a 7-0 lead. Yoakum tied it at 7 before Grandview takes the lead for good on quarterback Dane Jench's touchdown run. Jench would rush for 2 touchdowns in the game and throw for another to Cooper Deans as Grandview wins its semifinal to advance to its first state championship game. Grandview will play Malakoff for the 3A Division I title, and the Zebras will do so as our Chevy Team of the Week. Thanks again to the TAPS Division I state champions from Bishop Dunn for being our guests on the show tonight. UIL championship matchups are set, and the final week of this high school football season is here. State title games begin Wednesday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington and last through Saturday, and we'll have a full recap next Sunday night on the Chevy High School Sports Special. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Taylor Williamson. Good night, and have a great week.
This has been the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.